Hi guys, how's it going? How's your homework? I think following homework is really important because coding is basically not memorizing something. It's basically practice something. Okay, I think you need to keep typing. So the reason I'm here is because I got several questions from students. The first question is about what is the difference between this operation and this operation with the print. Okay. According to the person, they sometimes print the result, but sometimes they doesn't print. So I think it's more about like the environment. Let me open Colab. So according to the guy, yeah, this is the problem. This is the example. If I press Shift Enter, you can see the result here, right? So let me print one item like this. You can see the result too. I mean, this is the nature of Colab. The Colab is try to print something if there is no particular function or particular operation, I guess. So just like this. So if I print just A, there's no operation, right? Shift Enter, it just literally prints the result. However, the Python has their own sort of environment system. Okay, this is the Grasshopper environment. I'm double click on the canvas and typing the Python. Yeah, double click it. Great. And then I will create a list here. 1, 2, 3. And just duplicate the same things. Test. You cannot see something, right? Because there's no particular operation. But in the Colab, they sort of smart so that they print something. But we need to basically explicitly mention. I think this is good hobby. Okay, so I need to print parenthesis open parenthesis close. We are able to see the result here. Okay, these are pretty much about it for the first question. And the second question is, what is difference between double quotation and single quotation here? I mean, it's based on the different types of language. They have their own particular sort of operation, but the Python, you don't need to worry about it. But as long as you make a consistent character, I think it's good to go. Let me take an example. I'm going to declare one variable here, name, for example, and then I'm using double quotation. This is a hobby. You need to, as long as you open, you need to close. Okay. Then I will type in nj, maybe full name Namju, right? And Shift Enter. Okay, I think I need to print my name. Yeah, you can see. However, what if I wanted to emphasize a J character? I can use the single quotation here. Yeah, because the outer double quotation basically capsulate all the characters so that we can consider this single quotation as a character here. Just like that. But what if we wanted to make a double quotation as a character? You can do that like this. However, we need to change the quotation, I mean the outer quotation, as a single quotation. So once you open, you must close, right? And then I simply use the double quotation as a, let's say, character here. So I can use the double quotation as a character here, right? Yeah, I think this is pretty much about it. Okay, let's move to other question. So yeah, I think this is a very good question. What is the ampersand operation here? Okay, I duplicate the code and then I just execute it. What does it mean by that is we have 3 numbers. So ranging is a function to generate list out of integer number here. So we have a 3. So the return value is going to be 0, 1, 2. So 0, 1, 2 goes to I in order. So the first number is a 0. So we try to divide, let's say, by 2, and then the remainder is become 0. Yeah, so that we are able to see the even number. Then what if we have 1? Then we try to divide, and then the remainder is going to be 1. So that's why we print odd, because the number 1 is not equal to 0, right? So this is very useful function. So for example, what if I have 30 number here, right? So I can do execute in a zigzag fashion here. So what if I type 5 here, okay? It literally executes after 5, after 5, after 5, right? Which is very useful, right? What if I give the number 9? We execute 1 time, and then the 9 time goes to this scope, and then we execute this line after 9. Yeah. So I think this operation is very useful when it comes to controlling grid system or geometry, things like that. Also, you can make it more complex. Like you can nest the other like n% if conditional statement inside of this if statement, so that you can create like if this is meet some condition, and then at the same time also we need to meet that kind of situation. Otherwise we doesn't execute it. Yeah, things like that. So tomorrow we have a workshop after conditional statement, so you guys can learn, you know. And then the last question is what is different between colon and semicolon here. Yeah. So in Python there is no semicolon things for Python syntax. This is some of my hobby because these days I'm working using different languages at the same time. If you are working with the C# or Java or C++, the semicolon is absolutely important, otherwise the code doesn't compile it. So the semicolon is basically let the computer, let the Python, I'm done this line. Yeah. So every time you done your one line of code, you need to put the semicolon in other languages like C++ or C or Java or C#. But however, Python, there's no such thing. So you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about the semicolon. The reason I put the semicolon is from my hobby. Yeah. So it actually doesn't matter. However, the colon is absolutely important. Without the colon, we couldn't execute the code because this is a syntax. Yeah. So for example, if you put the for loop here at the end of the line, we need to put the colon here so that we are able to make some indent here. We have two space as an indent. So indent is basically define the scope. Yeah. Let me jump to Python in Grasshopper. So here I can do for I in, let's say range 10 and colon here. If I press enter, there's a 4 space as an indent. This is Python specific syntax. So you can do print I. Yeah, so we can see the result here. What if I have a if statement inside of the for loop? Yeah. If I is bigger than 5, semicolon, colon, and then press enter, and we have 4 more indent here. Yeah. Then print I. No, maybe bigger. Yeah. So after 5, we can see bigger here, right? So the for loop is basically loop throughout the range. Yeah. So the scope is like this, and the if scope is only execute after this for line. So however, if I do like this, if I smaller than, let's say 4, for example, then I have 4 more indent, which define the scope basically. So this scope has nothing to do with this scope because they are different indent, right? But however, if I drag them and then press tab key, yeah, and then this scope become part of this scope, yeah. So it has an advantage or disadvantage, but I don't know, this is the nature of the Python, so we need to follow this step. So let me make one more example. So we can define function, right, by def keyword. So my fun, and then colon here, press enter. Maybe you can do whatever your execution, and then I remove the full line. I remove the space, I mean the indent. So if I execute my function, for example, like my fun here, and then we execute this function, the scope of this function is only these 4 lines here. Yeah. So I think understanding colons is really important. I think I'm done. Yeah. So thank you for raising the question, and I really appreciate you guys' participation. Great. Thank you.